Plus app. This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.
Hello and a very warm welcome to all. I'm Miha Bharadwaj-Alter and it's time to get your game on. Tonight on the show, Novak Djokovic enters the third round of the US Open, but something is making him unhappy. We'll tell you on the show. Coco Gauff is also through to the next round and the action is back in Paris with the Paralympic Games officially being declared open in a spectacular opening ceremony. But let's begin with an exclusive today. He's regarded as one of the finest English batters to have played the game, but he's also one of the most controversial English batters to have played the game. If you still haven't figured it out, I'm talking about Kevin Pietersen. Known for his aggressive approach and flamboyant strokes on the field, Pietersen made a significant impact on the game. Who can forget his performance in England's Ashes victory in 2005 now? He's also an outspoken personality off the field, and my colleague, Kabir Naqvi, he caught up with him in Birmingham. Here are a few excerpts from that chat. This was on the sidelines of the World Championship of Legends, and Kabir began by asking him about what it was like being back on the field, what was going on in his mind.
I think the lure of the dressing room and hanging out with a bunch of guys for a week to 10 days who you actually really get on with and you miss spending time with. We finish our cricketing careers and we end up living completely different lives. A lot of different people go into different walks of life. Some stay in cricket, some go into business. And I think the lure of being sort of competitive with your mates who you spend so much time with is something that I particularly enjoy. There's guys downstairs in our dressing room who I haven't seen for years and years and years. And the opportunity to spend time with them and to reminisce. I mean, we had breakfast this morning for 4 hours. It was just talking about everything that used to happen and all the old stuff. So I think from my perspective, it's great fun to be able to spend time with people who were almost like family because we were with them all day, every day. A couple of the guys go back to even county cricket days where I used to travel the width and breadth of this country with Usman Afzal in particular, who I spent so much time with.
He was also asked about his old mates and old rivals. What are the moments that he remembers from his time in terms of his old rivalries? This is what he said.
The favourite memory at Edgbaston was the 2005 Ashes, that second test match in Birmingham, where we managed to get over the line, and that famous photograph of Freddie Flintoff and Brett Lee. That's probably the most famous test match that's been played here at this ground, and probably the most historic and famous test match series that's ever been played. It's still talked about today.
Now, when we talk about legends and rivalries, it's not just about England and Australia. There was a lot the West Indies had to offer, India and Pakistan as well. What about some of the other memories that he can recall? Listen in.
What it does is it takes you back to when you're walking out there as a batter and you're looking up and you see Brett Lee, it sort of takes you back 15 years. Or when you're, I'll again speak from my perspective, you're standing in the crease and Harbhajan is at the back of his mark and you're thinking, okay, 15 years ago. The game isn't as quick. This game certainly isn't as quick as what it was 15 years ago, 10 to 15 years ago, just because we have got older. But it's that competitive edge as well. I said it in the dressing room yesterday that even when we get out and I'm 44 years of age, you don't like it. There's just something about getting out that just isn't nice. And so I suppose it's that competitive spirit It's that that will to still try and get as many runs as possible. But I suppose we're a little bit more accepting now.
What has really changed from endurance of test cricket, strategic pace of 50 overs cricket, and then quick bang blitz that happened in the 20 overs? How have things changed, and what has been Kevin Pietersen's mentality as a skipper when he leads a side?
Cricket has changed. Cricket's changed significantly since the invention of T20 cricket. The pace of the game has become a lot quicker. Test matches last 4 days. You're getting results now. Unless there's rain, you're getting results. And I think players are becoming a lot more adventurous. Human nature, that want for instant gratification, is a demand on all our daily lives now, from our kids up to us as grown-ups. I mean, we want things, and we want things now. So you talk about service delivery, and if you're ordering something on the internet, you want it that same day. Sometimes you can get it that day. So that's why I think we're in a bit of a tricky situation with Test match cricket. And having played over 100 Test matches, I should sit here and say, I want Test match cricket to thrive. I want it to live on. I want it. You know what? You got to move with the times. And I'm not so sure Test match cricket is going to be around in a few years' time. The shortest form of the game is running the game. That's where the money is. That's where the kids are. And unfortunately, you've got to move with the times.
T20 cricket seems to have become a batter's game. The recent World Cup gave us a slightly different picture. But does Kevin also believe T20 is a batter's format? Listen in.
In India, in the IPL, I mean, I was calling a lot of those games where 250, 260, 270 were being scored. And we were talking about, is there going to be a team that gets 300? And at one stage, I remember talking to Heinrich Klaassen, or interviewing Heinrich Klaassen about it, and he just said, we may as well just get bowling machines out here because the blokes are just hitting sixes every ball. And that's probably not where we want T20 cricket to get to. But on a very, very flat track, these batters are so good these days that unfortunately we are just going to see a sixth-a-thon.
What has life been like after cricket for KP? This is what he said.
I like to spend as much time at home as possible. I spend a lot of time in Africa, in the bush, on safari. I do a lot of conservation work, trying to save the rhino. So I've got a lot of passion projects that keep me fully engaged on a daily basis. I'm very, very busy. And as we all know, I'm working to get my handicap in golf down to scratch. I'm currently at 2, but as close as you get to scratch, the less mistakes you're allowed to make. And I still make too many.
Lastly, there was a rapid fire round with him to put him in a bit of a spot. Watch this.
What's your favorite cricket shot?
Switch hit.
Who was your cricket idol whilst you were growing up?
Alan Donald, Hansi Cronje.
Fast bowling or spin bowling? What do you like to tackle on more?
Fast bowling.
Favorite cricket ground?
Adelaide Oval.
Most memorable moment on the field?
2005 Ashes.
Toughest bowler that you've faced so far?
Mohammad Asif.
Favorite cricketing rivalry?
Well, playing against South Africa. Every time I played against South Africa.
What's the best cricketing advice that you've ever received?
I got it from Greg Blewett at the start of my county career when I'm playing for Nottinghamshire. He said, watch the ball, play the ball, never ever play the man. And that stood me in good stead throughout my career.
One rule that you'd like to change in cricket?
There should be a shot clock on T20 cricket. T20 cricket's taking too long now. Hour and a half you have to bowl your overs, done and dusted, finished. Clock stops after an hour and a half.
Most challenging place to play?
I tell you, early season in England, when the wickets are green and the ball's going all over the place.
Favorite non-cricketing sport?
Golf.
Best innings you've ever seen live?
Ricky Ponting's 150 at Old Trafford in that famous 2005 Ashes.
Who's your cricketing hero?
My hero growing up was Hansi Cronje.
Well, that was Kevin Pietersen talking to Kabir Naqvi. We'll move on now. A glorious opening ceremony marked the start of the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games last night. French President Emmanuel Macron declared the Paralympic Games open in a beautiful ceremony where athletes paraded along the iconic Champs-Élysées to Place de la Concorde. This was the first Paralympics curtain raiser to be held outside a stadium. The security was tight with some 15,000 law enforcement officers on site, but there was a light summer feeling to the evening as the sun slowly set on the French capital. The live show started at the foot of the obelisk in Place de la Concorde with the Canadian musician, songwriter and producer Chili Gonzalez on the piano. Artists with disabilities and impairments screamed a countdown, and French singer Christine and the Queens delivered a pop rendition of Edith Piaf's Je ne regrette rien. The event, directed by Swedish choreographer Alexander Ekman, and it was featuring 500 artists, was named Paradox from Discord to Concord in a thinly veiled reference to the Place de la Concorde, where the sold-out ceremony ended in front of more than 50,000 spectators. The 168 delegation athletes parade started from the bottom of the Champs-Élysées in a festive atmosphere with volunteers cheering and dancing. As the French, who closed the parade, reached the square, Jan Tiersen's theme of Emily was played on the loudspeaker before the crowd chanted Allez le Bleu with the scintillating Eiffel Tower in the background. Last month's opening ceremony was held in pouring rain, which failed to dampen the enthusiasm of spectators along the Seine River. It went without a security glitch, though it also triggered controversy over a tableau that appeared to have parodied Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. The Paralympic flag was carried by Briton John McFall, who won the 100-meter bronze medal in the 2008 Beijing Paralympics before becoming the first person with a physical disability to effectively be cleared for future missions by the European Space Agency. After a relay of the torch through the Jardin des Tuileries, the cauldron, 17 days after the Olympics ended, was lit again near the Louvre Museum by 5 French Paralympic athletes. The ceremony ended with fireworks and another cover by Christine and the Queens of Patrick Hernandez's hit of 1978, Born to Be Alive. French President Emmanuel Macron welcomed heads of states and international organizations at the Élysée Palace on Wednesday ahead of the opening ceremony of the Paralympic Games. Paris 2024 has sold just over 2 million tickets for the Paralympic Games. This is what organizers have said, adding that they were confident it would be a sold-out extravaganza. Over 2 million tickets have already been sold for the Paris Olympics, is what they've said in a statement more than a month after the opening ceremony of the Olympics on the River Seine. The Paralympic Games opening event took place outside the stadium, this time, like I said, on the Champs-Élysées and Place de la Concorde. The competition has begun today with medals in track cycling, swimming, taekwondo and table tennis, and continues until the closing ceremony on 8th of September. On to football, and Lionel Messi's return to group training with Inter Miami on Wednesday, more than 6 weeks after the Argentina captain had left the Copa America final with a badly sprained right ankle. There's still no official timetable for when Messi will play again for Inter Miami, who have the best record in Major League Soccer so far this season. Inter Miami will visit Chicago on Saturday, and then they don't have another match until September 14th when they play Philadelphia. If Messi doesn't play this weekend, that means he'd have 2 more weeks to continue rehab before returning to game action. Messi was not selected by Argentina to play in World Cup qualifiers in early September. Messi has 12 goals and 13 assists in 12 MLS games with Inter Miami this season. He's missed 14 of the club's league matches, including each of the last 8 either because he was playing for Argentina or recovering from the ankle injury. In that span, Messi also missed all 4 of Inter Miami's matches in Leagues Cup play as the team tried to defend the trophy they won a year ago. Messi last played on 14th of July, leaving in the second half of Argentina's win over Colombia in the Copa America final. He was dealing with leg issues throughout that tournament, plus left the field briefly in the first half of the final because of that left ankle issue, then got hurt again in the second half and had to leave for good. If Messi doesn't play until the September 14th match, he will have had exactly 2 months to recover and rehab, plus gear up for the MLS playoffs. Inter Miami are the only team so far to have clinched a playoff berth. They are currently 4 points clear over the LA Galaxy for the best overall record in MLS. They also have a match in hand. Federico Chiesa arrived in Merseyside on Wednesday to undergo a medical before completing his transfer from Juventus to Liverpool. Arne Slot's side are believed to have secured the 26-year-old winger's services for an initial fee of £10 million with £2.5 million in potential add-ons, according to media reports. Now, Chiesa, who starred for the Azzurri in their victorious Euro 2020 campaign, joined Juventus from Fiorentina in 2020, but has struggled with injuries in recent seasons. He becomes the second signing of the summer transfer window for Liverpool, joining Georgian goalkeeper Georgi Mamardashvili, who signed from Valencia on Tuesday. One of the most recognizable jerseys in sports history will soon hit the bidding block as LeBron James's St. Vincent St. Mary's High School jersey looks to fetch millions at auction in Hong Kong in September. The jersey was worn by the NBA great during one of the most memorable Sports Illustrated front cover shoots titled The Chosen One. Photographed by Michael Lebrecht, James can be seen wearing the number 23 jersey while palming the basketball. Cody Frederick, he's the auction marketing director at Julian's Auction, who are holding this auction, said the jersey represents the genesis of James's storied career. The Legends in Motion lot will also include a trove of LeBron-related photographs, along with items from Hollywood and martial arts icon Bruce Lee and other unique items. James is used to breaking records on and off the court, and according to Frederick, the estimated value of the jersey could range in the millions and has the potential to command more after James's playing days are over. On to action from the US Open. Defending champion Novak Djokovic advanced to the third round of the US Open on Wednesday after fellow Serb Laslo Djere retired injured while trailing 6-4, 6-4 to love. Djokovic needed 5 sets to beat Djere in the third round a year ago, and it looked as though Arthur Ashe Stadium would see another epic clash between the two as Djere went up a break in the second set. But the unseeded Serb appeared to pick up an injury midway through the set, and Djokovic went on to book a third-round meeting with Australian Alexei Popyrin. Djokovic broke Djere to love in the 10th game of a tightly fought first set, benefiting from a series of unforced errors by his opponent. Djere looked to have the momentum as he broke the second seed in the third game of the second set, but things fell apart when he winced after a serve in the 8th game and Djokovic converted on a break point chance. Djere took a medical time out after the 9th game, lying on the court as a physio massaged his abdomen and lower back before Djokovic broke him again in the 10th game. Djere then retired minutes into the third set, but Djokovic later on was asked about his game and he said he wasn't happy with his serve and said that Djere, if he had not been injured and was playing slightly better, could have beaten him. In fact, Djokovic called his serve awful. He said that his serve has been awful in the first 2 games that he's played so far. So, despite the win, Djokovic not very happy with his form at the moment. Defending champion Coco Gauff brought her nothing-to-lose mentality to the second round of the US Open as she cleaned up early mistakes to beat unseeded German Tatiana Maria 6-4, 6-love on Wednesday. The American who beat Maria in Auckland last year roared back from an error-riddled first set to sweep through the second and close out the affair with a sublime backhand winner. She will play 2019 semi-finalist Elina Svitolina of Ukraine in the next round. Gauff was red hot as she broke Maria in the opening game but helped her opponent to break a point to a break point with a handful of clumsy errors in the next game. The third seed hardly had the run-up to New York that she had hoped for as she exited Toronto and Cincinnati early, and she appeared visibly frustrated at times as she put up 20 unforced errors and 7 double faults in the first set. She turned it around when she broke her opponent from the baseline in the 7th game and clawed her way back from 15-14 in the 10th. A technical error caused the loudspeaker at Arthur Ashe Stadium to blare the word "stop," forcing the players to replay set point. But Gauff was not rattled and had her poker face as she walked back to the bench with a win. Victoria Azarenka said she suffered a migraine during her match against Clara Burel, but the former world number one still managed to claim a 6-1, 6-4 victory to move into the third round. With that, time for us to wrap this show up. But before we go, the owners of the National Football League have allowed some private equity firms to buy up a 10% stake in a team. This is what NFL have said on Tuesday. Watch this report. Goodbye.
The owners of the NFL have voted to allow some private equity funds to invest in teams. Among the firms approved are Ares Management and a consortium including major investors like Blackstone and Carlyle. They'll be allowed to buy stakes of up to 10% in the team. A Reuters source says the firms plan to invest a total of $12 billion and can invest in up to 6 NFL teams each. The move brings football into line with other sports in North America and overseas. Major League Baseball and the NBA both allow private equity funds to own up to 30% of a team. The NFL last year formed a committee to look into changing ownership rules. In March, Commissioner Roger Goodell said the league was very close to outlining a new approach. The Washington Commanders are the most recent NFL team to be sold in a record-breaking deal valued at over $6 billion. Dallas-based fund Arctos Partners says the new vote makes it the only firm with assent to invest in all 5 of America's top sporting leagues.
Hey, careful, huh? My daddy got it from abroad. Hey, disaster! How will you pay for the loss now?
In stock market, you should take risk as per your capacity and knowledge. Trade in options very carefully.
Wow, Dikra! Absolutely perfect. Take risk with full understanding.
सोच कर, समझ कर, invest कर.